I bet you're all wondering who this slab of ribs is for. It is definitely not for me, your interviewer in this behind the scene here of this character. Somebody's making me laugh. All right.
You're putting on a fake voice. You don't got to do that.
Who's that echo back there talking? Okay, everybody. Here he is, the one and only Brian. Behind the scenes. Ah, yes. We see
videoing my.
We see.
My not pork ribs. What is it? Meat ribs, whatever.
So you all thought that you were going to see his face. Well, you only get to see half his body from his neck down.
Show my beautiful face.
You sure?
If you wish.
You can only hear his voice and see his body. Hey Brian, so how you been? You been making a lot of videos lately?
Yeah, I've been throwing up different kinds of videos. Me riding my motorcycle, my motored bicycle. Some sound effect videos. I still got some prank videos I filmed that I got to edit and put up.
So how you like living in should I say you live in? Should I say state?
Yeah, Florida.
How you like living in South Florida?
Oh, I love the weather. I used to live in New York. In New York, I couldn't take the cold weather anymore. Even before I got older. I haven't been able to take the cold weather since I'm in my 20s, really.
So was it a hard trek from New York to Florida? Did you meet a lot of mountain people through the Appalachian Mountains?
No, it was, took a flight. JetBlue, probably.
Oh, you flew out here?
Yeah, who doesn't? I sold my car, my little Mazda RX-7, and took a flight to Fort Lauderdale Airport.
Okay. And,
Been here ever since.
So, I still can't get it out of my head. The story you told me the other day concerning that altercation you had with one of your old housemates.
Right. Since I've been down here, I've always lived with housemates.
Yeah.
And certain ones have been better housemates than others. The worst of them was a Virginian, a guy named Tim, 58-year-old guy, not very well built, but he thought he was a real tough guy. And to show you how nasty he was, I'm a friendly guy. Every time I come home, I'd say, "Hey, how are you?" And you know what he would say?
Like you would say hello, like what?
I would say, "Hi." I can't. Like a gentleman. I would say, long hair.
Hey, Brian, but
Beard.
your viewers are not gonna recognize you since they haven't seen you in a long time. They're gonna think you're a different person. How long have you been living in the mountains as a mountain man?
You're supposed to put the camera to my face when you say that.
Oh, the camera was. I don't want my camera to break.
Try one more
Okay.
time. I get it edited out.
Right.
Turn the camera.
Hey, Brian, but your viewers are not gonna recognize you when they see you. Okay, ready? So how long have you been living like a mountain man?
You like the beard and the hair? Don't worry, I'm going to get it cut. And this is trimmed.
I bet you all your viewers are not gonna recognize. They're gonna think you're somebody else.
You know what you reminded me of when you asked me? I've lived with several housemates during the years. And the worst one I lived with was a Southerner. His name was Tim, Virginian. And that whole, what's the word, urban legend, whatever, Southern hospitality is so full of BS. This guy was nasty to the point of we came to fist fight. When I used to come home, I lived with him for 2 years. He owned the house and was renting a bedroom. Yeah. So when I would come home after being out during the day with family or wherever, I would, like a gentleman, say, hello. And he was usually, and at the time he was on unemployment most of the time because he lost his job. He was so difficult to get along with, nobody would keep him hired. So I come home and the couch faces basically the front door, sort of like this. And I would say, hello. And you know what his answer would be? What's up, bitch? I said, don't call me a bitch. This went on for about 2 years. Now, when you live with somebody for a long time, you tend to, get to feel you know them, and if you're an abusive type, you kind of start to abuse them because they're not a stranger anymore. What's it called? Familiarity breeds contempt, if you've heard that phrase. Anyway, one day he tells me, I've lost my kitchen privileges because I haven't mopped the floor in a long time. And truth be known, I kept the kitchen clean with dishes, and if I did my dishes, I would wash them. But I only mopped the floor one time in the 2 years I lived there because it basically never really got dirty. I think he was compulsively cleaning it very often, so there was never a chance for me to really say, oh, it needs a cleaning, let me do it. So anyway, he actually had the nerve, and at the time I was playing paddleball. Right now I don't have much of a build, but at the time I was playing paddleball, which requires an unhanded you do a lot of shots that are underhanded, with the paddle. You're holding a paddle, you hit the ball. You notice an underhanded paddleball shot is a lot like an uppercut punch. So my right arm was very strong in terms of this movement. And a lot of movement like this too, which is very similar to a right cross. So my arm was strong. I was in good shape. I was working, he lived right near the park. I used to go and play paddleball. So at that time, he messed with me when I've had major back surgery, so I can't mess around with fights, but at that time I had a good, strong right side. And the left arm is used in paddleball too, when you switch hands with the paddle and you hit with the left. But my right arm was quite strong. So anyway, he tries to stop me from cooking. And I said, put my plate back into the kitchen to prepare my food, and he takes the plate out of the kitchen and says, you're not using the kitchen. And then when I go to put the plate back...
But Brian, did he talk like that in a regular accent? He didn't have like a southern accent?
He had a southern accent.
So
Virginian.
Try to talk like what he said.
Oh, what did he say? I don't think words were crossed.
Well,
when he first said, you're not using the kitchen anymore.
Right. But he said, what's up, bitch?
Yeah, he would say, what's up, bitch? He didn't really have that much of an accent. But here, I knew he was from Virginia. It's been a couple of years, so his voice is not like ringing in my head. His voice was... He really showed me bananas.
From the Appalachian Mountains.
He just showed me bananas, man. He was stressful to live with. He was married 2 times. You still recording? His first wife left him with a 9-month-old baby. She must have ran out with pulling her hair out. You imagine a woman leaving a marriage with a 9-month-old, and she left the 9-month-old behind. That's how crazy she must have been. Gotten from him.
So how did he feed the baby?
He raised the kid. I don't know why the mother didn't get custody or whatever, but I know that among strangers, like when we did go to a bar together one time, he was very friendly, personable. He was not nasty, but if you got to know him behind closed doors for a good period of time, and he got comfortable with you, he'd start being abusive. And that's how he got with me. In a way, I was almost like in that abusive wife syndrome. I lived in the house with him, so I was the one he heaped the abuse on, you know what I mean? Stuff like, hello, bitch, other comments, making comments about my clothes.
You were like the odd couple, sort of speak.
Worse than that, they didn't fist fight. Anyway, so like I said, I had a strong right hand from playing paddleball, this movement, and this movement in paddleball. Very little do you hit like this, but most of the movement is this and this. So very strong right hand. So he tries to stop me from cooking. We had to push back and forth with the plate. And next thing I know, he grabs me by the neck and pushes me up against the wall and starts choking me as hard as he could. But luckily, he wasn't in great shape. A real strong guy could have snapped my neck, but he was choking me, and I was moving to the ground, but I have no idea if I was getting choked out or if I was slipping, because the wall had an angle to it. In my mind, I was just slipping sideways. But I don't know, I was going to the ground. When I got to the ground, I pushed off the ground, came up with an uppercut, just like in paddleball, except it was a punch. Hit him in the midsection, knocked the wind out of him, and then quickly came across with a right cross, meaning to hit him in the temple to knock him out. But I must have hit him in the jaw, because later on he had a cut in the jaw. Anyway, so I went bam, bam, and then because I was all worked up, I didn't realize he was fading out. He was already knocked out. He was slowly fading, turning away from me like this. He was knocked out, and the last bit of fight or flight, they call it, you know, that protect yourself, whatever. My left hand flew out in a left cross, I guess you'd call it, and I hit him right behind the ear as he was already turned. So it was like bam. He was all cut up. His jaw, his ear was bleeding. He was bleeding like a pig. He called the police and tried to claim I attacked him.
Not true.
Yet he was stupid enough to tell the police the fight started when he approached me to stop me from cooking. The police said, you approached him. Obviously, you know what I mean? That wasn't a strong case. I approached this guy and we ended up in a fight.
He's a perpetrator.
Right. So the cops were like, you know, I said to myself, thank goodness he admitted he had, you know, he approached me. So obviously, if he hadn't approached me, there wouldn't have been a fight. So the cops did nothing. And then, even funnier, the guy was so stupid. You know what he says to the cops? He says, well, can't you take him out of here? And the cop said, no, he lives here. And you admitted also that he lives here. He rents here. And the guy says to the cops, well, can't you take him out of here and let him have to sue me to get back in? And the cop said, no, he lives here. He pays rent here, you know, blah, blah, blah. Even though I didn't have a rental contract. The guy wasn't smart enough to say he doesn't have a rental contract. I was just paying cash. It was all oral agreement. But the cops...
If you would have told the cops that, he would have taken you up?
There's more of a chance that if he had said there's no written agreement between us, that he could have claimed I was just a friend visiting. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, right. But even though he said...
He didn't, luckily.
Yeah,
but
right.
The cops left and I didn't get arrested.
But
nobody got thrown out.
Since he did say that you were living there, could the cops have taken you out if you would have said there's no contract, even though you did live there? There's no contract? You still had a right to live there, right?
After already admitting that I was renting there, I believe the cops probably would have said you already admitted he rented here.
Right.
If he had been really smart, I would have been really smart.
If he would have been slick,
If he was slicker, he would have said, my friend was visiting and he started and he attacked me. Yeah. But he didn't. Instead he said, I live there, and he said he approached me first to stop me from cooking. Because I didn't clean enough, you know, even though the kitchen was perfectly clean. He just always cleaned it before I ever, you know, the floor. In terms of doing dishes, I always keep my dishes clean.
He didn't want you dirty up because then he has to clean some more.
Whatever, but that was, I have good roommates now, and I'm happy, but I should never move. I'll tell you a different part of the story. Oh, you turned it off?
No.
Always trust your instincts. When I first went to interview with this guy, he was drinking a beer in his driveway, sitting on a lawn chair. I said to him, and I could tell he was Southern, and I could tell he was a beer drinker, you know, he had a beer belly, no build, you know, he obviously didn't work out. He looked like one of the types that his exercise was lifting a beer can to his stomach, to his mouth. And I said to him, hey guy, you have no trouble living with people, right? You don't drink beer and get abusive. And he said, no, not at all, I'm a very nice guy. I said to myself at that moment, I said, I don't believe him. And I was absolutely right. So I ended up putting up with a lot of abuse for 2 years, until finally we had that fight, and I said, that's it, it's time to move. And then I moved to a much nicer house, lived there 2 years. Then the woman said she's selling the house. That was about 2 years ago. And then me and the two people I was living with, very nice two people, we decided to find a place together because the 2 years we lived together in this other house were pleasant. Nobody had any fights, nobody had any disagreements, you know, nice people. And we all put together our funds and we leased this two-story home. That's about it.
Okay, Brian, that was a good video. But let me ask you viewers, what do you think they prefer more, the old Brian or the way you look at it now? Please, everybody viewing out there, write a comment in the comments area. Let us know. Press a like.
Press the like button and subscribe.
That's very important. Press subscribe and press a like.
Exactly.
So let us know. Let us know if You like them? Oh wait, what you said, Brian? There's a reason. There's a reason for your look.
Aiming at me.
Why keeping your hair long like that?
I need to get a haircut. I'm too lazy. Too busy making
Now be
videos.
honest. Be honest.
You're not putting a film on me. Oh, yeah. Say what you want. Oh, you're not aiming it at me.
Oh yeah. I was getting ready to aim at you, Brian. But what's the reason you're looking like that with your hair long? You telling me?
That's for our next prank, Ronald.
Oh, you want the viewers to look forward to your next video?
Right. Our next video, right.
Where is it at?
We're going to head down to the beach and do our...
Our skit?
Why are you aiming it at me? What are you waiting for? You're not aiming it at me.
Oh, yeah, Brian, there's a nice computer, huh? This is where you do your computer work on YouTube. Fantastic. All right, so you're going to put on a great video for the future? Wow, what's going to happen in the video? Who are they going to see?
Pay attention. Next time we're going to do our hillbilly routine down at the beach where the pretty girls hang out. Be sure to tune in.
Talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
From gentleman to hillbilly.
That's for real.
That's real. But that was fake. Make sure everybody knows that. Brian's a good-looking guy.